In the beginning, there was spaciousness, pure harmony, the cosmic balance of creation. All of the stories that ever came to be were suspended in the vast cosmic ocean of time-space. Since the beginning of time, many minds have pondered the birth of humanity. This epic moment which dances on the precipice of our shared mortal phenomenon called life. How do we get here? How do we get here? How did we get here? What's the meaning of life? What's the meaning of life? How do we prepare for what's next? How do we prepare for what's next? And with life comes mortality. Great beings, children, women, men, and non-binary peoples around the world have been called to reveal the incomprehensible tale of how we came to be. Some even took a chance at foretelling what was to come. You, no doubt, have accepted one of these creation stories for yourself. How has it served you? How have you embodied your own understanding of truth? What morals have you adopted along the way? What beliefs have you manifested? What have you done to help humanity's story? Our shared story reveals our social system, the fruits that it bears, and the challenges we face. Many people think that our systems are broken. But is the system truly broken, or have we been fooled by the scattered stars? Mirrors that were never broken to begin with. We live in a universe of systems and subsystems, from the vast universe which consists of billions of galaxies to the atoms within each living organism on Earth, including humans. We exist as a part of an interconnected and interdependent series of systems and subsystems. It's fascinating to me to think about the fact that of the billions of galaxies within the universe, we inhabit only one, the Milky Way. The Milky Way consists of 200 to 400 billion stars, and Earth's sun is only one of those stars. Humans in relation to the universe are like the tiniest atom within a cell inside the human body.
Hunger, poverty, environmental degradation, economic instability, unemployment, chronic disease, drug addiction, and war, for example, persist in spite of the analytical ability and technical brilliance that have been directed towards eradicating them. No one deliberately creates those problems. No one wants them to persist, but they persist nonetheless. That is because they are intrinsically systems problems. Undesirable behaviors characteristic of the system structures that produce them. They will yield only as we reclaim our intuition, stop casting blame, see the system as the source of its own problems, and find the courage and wisdom to restructure. Vanilla H. Metals, Thinking in Systems. Once we begin to see the relationship between structure, how a system is designed, and behavior, the results a system consistently produces based on this design, we can begin to understand how our social systems work, what makes them continually produce dysfunctional results, and how to shift them into healthier behavior patterns. As the Slinky example illustrates, a system may be manipulated or triggered by outside forces, but the system's response to these forces is characteristic of the system itself. The system, to a large extent, causes its own behavior. An outside force or event may unleash that behavior, but the same outside event applied to a different system, i.e. the Slinky box, is likely to produce a different result. Think for a moment about the implications of that idea. Do political leaders cause recessions or economic booms? Or are ups and downs inherent in the structure of a market economy? Did President Trump and President Obama divide the country? Or is divisiveness inherent in the debate-based representative democracy where political leaders compete for votes by highlighting differences in ideals and beliefs? Prior to the last approximately 10,000 years, humans did not live in society stratified along the lines of wealth, social status, and power. For the previous approximately 290,000 years of our existence as a species, humans lived as hunter-gatherers in egalitarian or power-with societies. Hunter-gatherers are defined as people who obtain their food by foraging for plants and hunting for animals. Egalitarian societies are characterized by having social and economic equality amongst all the people. In pre-agricultural societies, hunter-gatherers lived nomadic lives and depended heavily on one another for survival. Everyone had a role, and they shared all responsibilities and resources. It wasn't until the invention of agriculture that humans began to form settlements and divisions of labor that would ultimately lead to class divisions, rulers, competition, and war for conquest and resources. The competition and greed that we currently experience in society is assumed to be a result of human nature, but hunter-gatherer societies have proved otherwise. This is not only the case from a prehistoric standpoint, but it remains accurate in contemporary times for the few remaining hunter-gatherer societies that can be found in several remote places around the world. Now let's discuss some examples of how power-with systems are being implemented and applied from within modern societies in an effort to move more people towards sustainability and well-being. One of the justifications for power over social systems like hierarchy-based family, business, and governance systems is that human beings need to be led by a strong leader. Otherwise, things will be out of control and dysfunctional. There are several examples of power with family, business, and governance systems. One example is called sociocracy. Sociocracy is a governance model that involves all members in a group, no matter its size, having an equal voice in the decision-making process. Sociocracy is a process that ensures that everyone is heard, that everyone consents, and that no one objects to the decisions being made for the group. The decisions that are made are lean and agile, meaning that they only need to be safe enough to try. Those decisions are then implemented, tested, and iterated over time, which allows for the group to continually adapt their decisions as needed. This process is very in tune with the realities of an ever-evolving world. Sociocracy also eliminates the tyranny of the majority, found in the democratic process. Gender equality is the belief that, yes, there are differences between genders. However, those differences aren't universal. For example, men aren't always physically stronger than women. Standardized, for example, being physically stronger than a woman isn't an indicator of being a man. Or justifications for hierarchy. For example, being physically stronger doesn't equate to having authority. Social systems that embrace gender equality also pave the way for greater tolerance of gender variance, which is a behavior or gender expression that doesn't match traditional masculine and feminine gender norms. Gender-affirming practices are becoming more widely adopted in the mental and physical health fields after recent research indicating that trying to force gender non-conforming children to adopt gender norms lead to psychological damage. Spirituality has different meanings to different people depending on the context. For some people, it refers to their religious practices, and for others, their spirituality practices have nothing to do with religion at all. There are many spirituality practices that have evolved from power with social systems and ideals that both fall within religion and outside of religion. For example, Christian egalitarian churches reject the beliefs rooted in patriarchy found in many traditional Christian denominations. Another example is animism. A religious belief that all things have a distinct spiritual essence is believed to be the world's oldest religion. Some people believe in astrology and look towards the movement and position of the planets for divine meaning. The key with true power with spiritual practices is that they are inclusive, non-judgmental, and they promote self-awareness, self-love, and a power that comes from honoring the interconnectivity of all living things. When I think about having a symbiotic relationship with land, I think about how throughout history, the indigenous peoples of various continents were stewards of land, not owners of it. They understood and honored the give and take balancing feedback loop relationship that is inherent in all natural systems. When you really think about it deeply, and in the context of the evolution of life on Earth, how can people own nature? Something that humans did not invent. Is owning land, a living thing, any less inhumane than owning another human being or animal? I'm not saying that we shouldn't use land and make improvements to it. However, I am saying that if we viewed our relationship with land and the environment in general as a symbiotic one, then our use decisions would be 100% sustainable. Our use decisions would prioritize being good stewards of land, and we'd be intentional about only producing waste that is environmentally friendly. In the book, The Fifth Discipline, Peter Senge states that structures of which we are unaware hold us prisoner. Once we can see them and name them, they no longer have the same hold on us. I created this Theory of Indivisibility framework with the hopes that it would help more people learn to see and name the oppressions within social systems rooted in power over and control in the ways that we all unknowingly perpetuate them. My belief is that as more people learn to see and name the tools of oppression, they will begin to intentionally make changes in their lives in an effort to communicate, problem solve, and make decisions in ways that inherently produce liberation, social and environmental sustainability, and unconditional love for themselves, the environment, and other human beings. In fact, before power over systems became what we know them to be today, systems based on ideals and norms like collaboration, shared power, inclusion, and freedom had already been around for several 100,000 years. We currently live during an era where many people possess the necessary communication, problem-solving, and decision-making tools and skills to live indivisibly. and there is an abundance of technology resources available to help more people obtain them. However, by no fault of their own, many people are still conditioned to communicate, problem solve, and make decisions based on power over and control systems paradigms.
Your visionary mind frame got me opening ears. I pause for a second, listen to the words that I spit. So can you feel it? Lose focus, then you start to see the vibration hitting every nation. Check your foundation, a matter of energy. Got me circling for the world around me. Stand strong, holding the position I belong. Finish clearing the past, and then you move on to a new way to go. You're engaging the flow, the critical mass. Got a brother running so fast, but will I slow down? The wheels on the bus go round and round. Sitting thinking how I'm living, what the longer. Now I'm coming to a point where I'm bridging the gap. I reckon living with the interpersonal ethic emerging to another level with my culture. Open your mind. Vision, no time. Open your mind to this new vision. No time. Open your mind to this new vision. No time. Open your mind to this new vision. No time. Open your mind to this.
I truly believe that we as humans have the capacity to live in harmony with nature and one another. I truly believe that we have the capacity to live indivisibly.
I imagine a world where the theory of indivisibility can be easily understood, accepted, and appreciated. The biggest thing that we, in my opinion, as humans fault or lack is solid and honest and open communication. Sometimes finding the language for that communication isn't as easy, and there are times when we have preconceived notions or illusions about reality in front of us before we can have a good outcome of a good conversation. So I really am a fan of the theory of indivisibility. I think this is a great tool. I think it's a great way for us to enhance our communication with each other and our language of how to speak effectively and lovingly towards each other.
I envision a world rooted in love, compassion, and mutual respect. I envision a world where people can share their lived experiences in safe spaces and share love in the process of our collective healing. I envision a world where there is no more war, where we can act as one big family. I envision a world where nothing is a commodity and everything is sacred and used with respect.
I imagine a world where our time is spent on finding points of connection instead of developing tools for resistance. I imagine a world where caring for each other is so normal that we weave in and out of the community of one, which is all the aspects of ourself, and our relationship with community outside of ourselves. I imagine a world where we weave in and out of those communities with ease and love and flexibility because we've become so versed as humankind in supporting communal care and honoring each person's self-care. A world where liberation is a present tense and not a future hope or dream. A thing we embody, a thing we look back at because we see ourselves as whatever's on the other side of the fight for liberation. Yes, all of that with these tools, yes.
I imagine a world where the tools of oppression are understood deeply by one and all, that we have a deep understanding of what is keeping our authenticity from living in this existence. Being truthful to who we are is something that helps us to understand the tools of indivisibility. Those tools then will gain traction. We'll begin living a life within us and who we are, living a life within the systems that we create, living a life in the new that we breathe into each and every day.
I imagine a world where parenting is no longer about asserting authority or enforcing strict hierarchies, but rather a nurturing and empowering experience. Parents understand that the well-being of their children is tied to their own well-being. They embrace the principles of indivisibility, recognizing that the liberation of one is intertwined with the liberation of all. They foster environments where children are encouraged to express their authentic selves, where their voices are heard and valued. In this world, children grow up with a deep sense of self-worth, compassion for others, and the skills to collaborate and create positive change.
Tools of Indivisibility. I hope that it will provide you with the framework for thinking about creating solutions to society's most pressing issues. The tools: agency, affirmation, sharing, consent, collaboration, liberation, transparency, unconditional love of self and others, personal boundaries, pluralism, authenticity, trust, mediation, tolerance, restorative justice, empathy, and inclusion. If a social system rejects using tools of oppression and embeds these tools of indivisibility, it will unify people and help them to feel safe physically, emotionally, and psychologically, and naturally support environmental sustainability. The communication framework of systems of power with and collaboration is authentic dialogue and nonviolent communication. The characteristics of authentic dialogue and nonviolent communication are listening to learn, seeking common ground, broadening perspectives, creating mutual understanding, trust, and co-creating solutions. Authentic happiness, peace, healthy relationships, thriving communities, self-actualized people, healthy ecosystems, and environmental sustainability. I believe that we have the capacity as humans to learn the skills necessary to live indivisibly. It is more important now than ever that we seize the present moment to shift the course of the future. We have an opportunity to be remembered as the generation of people who put a stop to the destructiveness of social systems rooted in power over and control, and reintroduce balance to our shared home, the planet Earth. Thank you for watching and listening to the visual album. Please share this content far and wide, and be sure to listen to the Theory of Indivisibility podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast platform. In the podcast, I explore the evolutionary origins, current complexities, and how my theory of indivisibility applies to power over, patriarchy, religion, ownership, capitalism, democracy, systemic racism, and education. Until next time, I love y'all. Peace.
Black is power. Black is bright. Black is light dreams moving at the speed of night. Black is potent. Black is fun. Black is filling nature with bullets and guns. Black is you. Black sees you, ceases you, and seeds you. Black is your dream come true. Don't misuse the black in you. Whatever you do, face death with life's grace. and put on a happy face in this tragic comedy of life and the so-called shared human experience.
Wow, that was an invigorating journey. Thanks for sticking around to the end. We'd like to invite you to make use of the Grow Melodic Playbook, which functions as a syllabus and workbook, so that you can begin to put the theory of indivisibility into practice, dive deeper into the theory on your own and in community, and play with the new skills you'll develop along the way. Each part of the playbook features resources to read, watch, listen to, and act on. The Grow Melodic Playbook will help you to think, see, and speak the language of systems thinking. You'll also learn more about the tools of indivisibility according to Dr. Sundiata Soon-Jahta's Theory of Indivisibility. Let's continue to develop and honor our intuition as we learn a few new skills to be the change that we want to see.